السلام عليكم يا شيخ.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله بركاته. السلام عليكم.
الحمد لله يا شيخ.
Can we go on now? Can we go on? Can we go on? Can we go on, Abu Abdurrahman? Can we go on? Assalamu alaikum. Can we go on? Can we hear me? Can we hear me? إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من فلا مضل فلا أشهد إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا بالله from Seerah A'ishah in the book Siyar A'alām An-Nubala by Imām Adh-Dhahabi rahimahullah. Can we hear me now? Ikhwa, can we hear me?
نعم شيخ.
Alhamdulillah. Naam. So we are reading from page 185, trying to bring to mind the last lessons we had. The last lessons we had was when Āishah radiyallahu anha was saying that فَخَرْتُ بِمَالِ أَبِي فِي الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ. I used to be happy, I used to be delighted. I used to show it to people that my father in the days of Jahiliyyah, he said, radiyallahu anha, وَكَانَ أَلْفَ أَلْفِ أَوْكِيَةٍ. My father had أَلْفَ أَلْفِ أَوْكِيَةٍ. My father had 1,000 of 1,000 أوكية. 1,000 of 1,000 is 1 million. 1,000 of 1,000 is 1 million. That was how they used to refer to a million. They will say alfu alfin. She said in this report by Al-Qasim ibn Abdul Wahid ibn Ayman, who said حدثنا عمر بن عبد الله ibn عروة عنها قالت فخرت بمال أبي في الجاهلية. I used to be delighted and show my delight to people regarding the wealth of my father during the days of Jahiliyyah. In this report, she was reported to have said that the wealth that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had was alfa alfi awqiyah. Abu Bakr had 1 million awqiyah. And we had said that 1 awqiyah is 200 grams. 1 awqiyah is 200 grams of silver. 1 awqiyah is 200 grams. We can also say that 1 awqiyah is 40 dirhams. 1 awqiyah is 40 dirhams. And we have 200 dirhams equaling about 640,000 naira. So if 200 dirhams equal 640,000 naira or thereabouts, and 1 awqiyah is 40 dirhams. So if 1 awqiyah is 40 dirhams, 1 million awqiyah will be 40 million dirhams. Then we can calculate what that means in naira. So in this report, it says we are on page 186 now. It says, فَقَالَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ وَسَلَّمَ يَا عَائِشَةُ O Āishah, كُنْتُ لَكِ كَأَبِي زَرْعٍ لِأُمِّ زَرْعٍ. I am to you كَأَبِي زَرْعٍ, like Abu Zar' لِأُمِّ زَرْعٍ, to Zar'. The way Abu Zar' is to Zar'. That is how I am to you. We remember that the hadith of Abu Zar' and Zar' was a very lengthy hadith of a narration from the Prophet ﷺ to Āishah. So there appears to be a mix-up of reports in this hadith. And it has been said that Al-Qasim ibn Abdul Wahid, who reported it from Umar ibn Abdullah ibn Urwa, is a weak reporter of hadith. So you see him mixing up reports. So Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, هَكَذَا فِي هَذِهِ الرِّوَايَةِ. This is how it has been reported in this narration. Alfa alf, alfu alfi awqiyah. That it was said that it is 1 million awqiyah. Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَإِسْنَادُهَا فِيهِ لِينٌ. And the chain of report has it has some weakness in it. The chain of report, فِيهِ لِينٌ, contains some weakness. Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, وَأَعْتَقِدُ لَفْظَةَ أَلْفِ الْوَاحِدَ بَاطِلَةً. Said the first expression of saying alf, that expression is null. فَإِنَّهُ يَكُونُ 40,000 dirham. He said, because if you say it is alfu awqiyah, that will be 40,000 dirhams. Because one awqiyah is 40 dirhams. One awqiyah is 40 dirhams. So alf awqiyah will be 40,000 dirhams. And alf awqiyah will be 40 million dirhams. But Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi said that the first expression of alf was null and void. So it is just alfu awqiyah. So if it is just alfu awqiyah, he says فَإِنَّهُ يَكُونُ 40,000 dirham. That will be 40,000 dirhams. He said rahimahullah وَفِي ذَلِكَ مَفْخَرٌ لِرَجُلٍ تَاجِرٍ. And that is enough thing of joy لِرَجُلٍ تَاجِرٍ, for a man who was a trader. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was a trader, was a businessman. So if you say a businessman has 40,000 dirhams, then that is big enough money for him. 40,000 dirhams. That's a lot of money for a person who was a businessman. He said, وَفِي ذَلِكَ مَفْخَرٌ لِرَجُلٍ تَاجِرٍ. That's enough sign of joy for a man who was a businessman. وَقَدْ أَنْفَقَ مَالَهُ فِي ذَاتِ اللَّهِ. And Abu Bakr as-Siddiq spent his money for the sake of Allah. وَلَمَّا هَاجَرَ. But when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq made hijrah, كَانَ قَدْ بَكِيَ مَعَهُ 6,000 dirhamin. What remained with him was 6,000, was 6,000 dirhams. After hijrah, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, who was having 40,000 dirhams, his money reduced to 6,000 dirhams. فَأَخَذَهَا صُحْبَتُهُ. But his companionship took that away. وَأَمَّا أَلْف, that is his being a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all that he did, radiyallahu anhu, got the money to be so reduced. Al-Dhahabi said, Amma alf awqiyah. As for saying that he had 1 million awqiyah, which will be 40 million dirhams. فَلَا تَجْتَمِعُ إِلَّا لِسُلْطَانٍ كَبِيرٍ. That will not gather except in the hands of Sultanun Kabir, a very, very big person of authority, like a president, like an Amir, and the like. They are the ones who, because of state wealth, you can find them having 40 million dirhams. As for a businessman, he wouldn't have more than about 40,000 dirhams is enough for him. So what was really with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, as discussed by Imām Adh-Dhahabi, was about 40,000 dirhams. How does that concern Āishah? It concerns Āishah because she used to be proud about it. She used to be glad. Like saying to the people, my father was rich. And these are things that people say. My father is worth so amount. So the actual worth, as envisaged by Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi, was 40,000 dirhams. Aside that, Al-Imam Adh-Dhahabi said, قال الزهري رحمه الله عن القاسم بن محمد. Al-Imam Adh-Dhuhri. This is an entirely new report we are looking at today. I think we also read it in the last class, I think. He said, قال الزهري رحمه الله. We are on page 186. We are on page 100. Imam Zuhri reported from Al-Qasim, the son of Muhammad, that is Muhammad, the son of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, that inna Muawiyata lamma hajja qadima fadakhala ala Āishah. Inna Muawiyata lamma hajja qadima fadakhala ala Āishata. فلم يشهد كلامها إلا ذكوان مولى عائشة رضي الله عنها. إن Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan came for Hajj. قدم فدخل على عائشة. He arrived at Hajj. فدخل على عائشة. Then she came to visit our mother Āishah رضي الله عنها. فلم يشهد كلامها إلا ذكوان. But nobody was one. Saying one was رضي الله عنها. She said to Muawiyah, من الأبي على رجل feels السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Can we hear me? Can we hear me? إخوة,
نعم
can
شيخنا.
we hear
وعليكم
me?
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Amir, how are you?
الحمد لله صح.
We hear we
The network has been breaking, sir.
we are we are to was talking about Āishah radiallahu anha and Muawiyah ibn Sufyan. Can we hear it?
It's breaking, sir.
Can we hear? Can we hear me? I was talking about Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Muawiyah was in Sham. Radiallahu anhu ibn Abi Sufyan. He was in Sham. He came to visit the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. He came to visit the wife of the Prophet Āishah radiallahu anha. But Āishah can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can we hear me? Can we hear me, Ikhwa?
Alaykum salam wa
Can we? I can hear you clearly.
That's bad, sir.
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me now clearly?
No, not yet.
I was talking about Muawiyah's visit to Āishah. Muawiyah came for Hajj فَقَدِمَ فَدَخَلَ عَلَى Āishah. He arrived and then he went to our mother Āishah radiyallahu anha. لم يشهد كلامها إلا ذكوان مولى عائشة. Nobody witnessed what Āishah said except Zakwan, the freed slave of Āishah. Nobody was there. It was Zakwan, Āishah radiallahu anha, and Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiallahu anhuma. وقالت Muawiyah. Our mother then said to Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, أمنت أن أخضع لك رجلا يقتلك بأخي محمد. أمنت أن أخضع لك رجلا يقتلك بأخي محمد. Do you feel comfortable أن أخضع لك رجلا, that should set a man to hide and go along with you? يقتلك بأخي محمد. That young man will kill you بأخي Muhammad, because you killed my brother Muhammad. Did we get what Āishah said? أمنت أن أخبأ لك رجلا يقتلك بأخي Muhammad. You feel safe that I should keep somebody hiding who will follow you and take your life the way my brother's life was taken. That brother was Muhammad. That is talking about Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr as-Siddiq. Our mother was saying that in privacy to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, but in the presence of the one, her free slave, who was the one telling us about this report. So she said that because Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan was the head of the Muslims in Sham. When they came to remove Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr as the governor of Misra, on behalf of Abi Talib, the soldiers of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan came to remove Muhammad as the governor of Misra. He was placed there by Ali ibn Abi Talib. Fortunately, let's not forget that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan was from Banu Umayyah, and they were the ones who were insisting that those who partook in the killing of Uthman ibn Affan should be immediately gotten and that justice should be served to them. And they knew that Muhammad ibn ibn Abi Bakr was part of them. So they held him and he was executed. And that was by the army that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan was their head, even though Muawiyah was not present during that incident. I'm sure we now understand why our mother Āishah was saying that to Muawiyah. Muawiyah headed a group of people who took away the life of Muhammad. They took away the life of Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr because he was known to have partaken in the killing of Uthman ibn Affan. Then he ran to Egypt. When he was arrested, he was executed. So our mother Āishah was asking Muawiyah, do you feel safe now that I get someone else to also kill you because killed my brother? She said, radiyallahu anha, she said that to Muawiyah, just the presence of Zakwan alone. Qal, Muawiyah said, Daqti, you have said what is true. وفي رواية أخرى, in another report, it said, قال لها, that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan said to our mother Āishah, ما كنت لتفعلي, you would not do that, O mom. ما كنت لتفعلي, you wouldn't do that. It's like Āishah saying, you, it was people who killed the brother Muhammad. What if I kill you too? Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan said to Āishah radiyallahu anha, ma taf'ali, you wouldn't do that. After all, you knew that I wasn't present there. I was not party at. Summa innaha wa'azathu. Thereafter, our mother Āishah azathu, she gave a sermon to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, wa haddathu ala al-ittiba'. She encouraged him. Āishah radiyallahu anha was encouraging Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan al-ittiba', to stick to following the sunnah. ثم إنها وعظته وحضته al-ittiba'. Then thereupon, after that statement, our mother Āishah wa'azathu, she gave a son, she admonished Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, وَحَبَّتْهُ, she also encouraged him al-ittiba'. She encouraged him about making full following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That was another incident report regarding Āishah. In yet another incident, another matter regarding Āishah radiyallahu anha is this, that Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, he said, وقال سعيد بن عبد العزيز التنوخي, Sa'id ibn Abdul Aziz At-Tanukhi said, قضى معاوية على عائشة 18,000 دينار. قضى معاوية عن عائشة 18,000 دينار. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan gave Aisha radiallahu anha a portion 18,000 dinar. 18,000 dinar. At that time, people who occupy very high places amongst the people used to be given jawaz, gifts by the state. The government will say, Sheikh Fulan, give him so amount. Sheikh Alan, give him so amount. Imam so, give him so amount. So Muawiyah, who was head of the Muslims at the time, radiyallahu anhu, he apportioned 18,000 dinar for our mother Āishah. If you calculate that, it amounts to 54 million naira. If you calculate 18,000 dinars, silver coins, it amounts to 54 million naira. Al-Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, rahimahullah, هذه رواية منقطعة. This riwayah has a broken chain. This report is not authentic. that Muawiyah sent 18,000 dinar to A'ishah. 54 million. It's not authentic. Was sahih. What is authentic is that riwayah to Urwata ibn Zubayr, a report of Urwa ibn Zubayr, anna Muawiyah, that Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, ba'atha marratan ila A'ishah. He sent a message to A'ishah. What was that message? Bi-mi'ati alfi dinar. Bi-mi'ati alfi dirhamin. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan sent 100,000 silver coins to A'ishah. 100,000 silver coins. 100,000 dirham. 200 dirham is about 600,000 naira. 200 dirhams is about 600,000 naira. So 100,000 dinar will be around 320 million. Like I said earlier, in the history of Islam, governments like our own sitting president now, they can say, take 50 million to the Imam of Lagos. It is lawful in Islam. They can say, take 100 million to the Imam of Katsina. It is lawful in Islam. The president, the head of the people, send gifts to eminent people in the community. These eminent people, they are not people that will have the opportunity to be running around opening shops and running after goats as headsmen or running after their farm as farmers because of the position that they occupy. Not that the position prevents them, but the schedules of the position prevent them from other lawful business activities. So the state will take care of them. So the state is well known in the history. It used to take care of both men and women that are well known. So the president can say, okay, the wife of recently an elderly learned person amongst the scholars in the Southwest passed away. It was well known. So the president or the state government can say, take 20 million to his family. Let them make ends meet with that. This used to happen a lot in the history of Islam. So Urwa ibn Zubayr said, أن معاوية بعث مرة إلى عائشة بمئة ألف درهم. عائشة رضي الله عنها معاوية بن أبي سفيان بعث مرة إلى عائشة. He sent on an occasion, he sent بمئة ألف درهم. He sent 100,000 dirhams. 100,000 dirhams calculates into 320 million in Nigeria. For Wallahi, Urwa ibn Zubayr said, I swear by Allah, Ma amsat hatta farraqatha. Ma amsat hatta farraqatha. Aisha did not spend the evening until she went out the whole morning. The morning that came to her before the evening, she had distributed it, give this sadaqah, give that sadaqah, give that sadaqah. She was giving an equivalent of 320 million. Radiyallahu anha. By the evening, she distributed everything. وقالت لها مولاتها. Some of the freed slaves among women who were with her said, لو اشتريت لنا منها بدرهم لحما. لو اشتريت لنا منها بدرهم لحما. O Aisha, لو اشتريت لنا. How I wish that you could buy for us, even if be with a dirham. I wish that you could buy some meat for us. Meaning that the entirety of the 100,000 dirham, she did not keep anything for herself. She was rather sending it to those people she saw who were perhaps in greater need. Radiallahu anha. Imagine someone getting 190 million, and before the evening she had sent it to the women cities. was how women were in the history. We also met some of that from our mothers. When they had something they did keep it themselves alone, they start sending left, right, start. In our generation, it's about in it all. May Allah protect us. It's Prophet said, Wallahi, ma amat hatta farqatha. She did not even get to the evening. Before evening time, qad farqatha. She had distributed. فقالت لها مولاتها. So some of her friends who were with her said that لو اشتريت لنا منها بدرهم لحما لو اشتريت لنا لحما منها بدرهم. However, she could even buy, even with a single dirham out of 100,000, buy some meats that we can eat. فقالت, she said, رضي الله عنها, Allah kultili, shouldn't you have said that? Shouldn't you have said, let's quickly buy me too, before I finish distributing the money? The next report, Imām Adh-Dhahabi said, Yahya ibn Abi Zada reported it, and Hajjaj. This Hajjaj is not Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. He is Hajjaj ibn Arta'a. Radiyallahu anhu, rahimahullah, and Ata'u is reporting from Ata'u ibn Abi Rabah, أن معاوية بعث إلى عائشة بكلادة ب100,000 أن معاوية بعث إلى عائشة. عطاء ibn Abi Rabah, just like in the report of Urwa ibn Zubayr, Ata'u said that Muawiyah sent a necklace worth 100,000 dirhams to Aisha. فقسمتها بين أمهات المؤمنين. فقسمتها عائشة بين أمهات المؤمنين. Our mother Aisha radiallahu anha distributed entire money amongst the rest of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam radiallahu anha. So she understood that it was not for her alone. Yes, it came to her, but she gave it to the rest of the women. Maymuna, Hafsa, Zainab, and the rest of the women, Salama, radiyallahu anhunna. Al-Mashu, yet in another report, it said, Al-Mashu Tamim Salama. Al-Imam Sulaiman ibn Mihran, he reported from Tamim ibn Salama, Usama, and Urwa, from Urwa ibn Zubair, and Aisha radiyallahu anha, أنها تصدقت ب70,000. On one occasion, Aisha radiallahu anha gave out a sadaqah, and the amount that sadaqah was 70,000. تصدقت ب70,000. Aisha herself gave sadaqah out with 70,000 dirhams. She herself gave sadaqah 70,000 dirhams. 70,000 dirhams is about 210 million. وإنها لترق جانب درعها. وإنها لترق جانب درعها رضي الله عنها. She's giving out 70,000 silver coins amounting to 210 million. وإنها لترق جانب درعها. وَإِنَّهَا لَتَرْقَعُ جَانِبَ دِرْعِهَا. As she is doing that, she is in the condition that she's still patching some sides of her clothes. She's still patching. وَإِنَّهَا لَتَرْقَعُ جَانِبَ دِرْعِهَا. She's still patching some parts of her clothes, some sides of her gown. And she's giving out 70,000 dirhams in sadaqah. This, our mother, is quite intelligent, radiyallahu anha, because what actually belongs to you is what you give. Yes, what you use also belongs to you. But how about the one that you sent completely to the hereafter? She gave out 70,000 dirhams to 210 million naira equivalent. in sadaqah. إِنَّهَا لَتَرْقَعُ جَانِبَ دِرْئِهَا. And she still has some sides of her own clothes. She's still patching into. Radiallahu anha. In another report, Abu Muawiyah said, and Hisham ibn Urwata, we are reading from page 187, and we are talking about the life of Āishah. Radiallahu anha. Hisham ibn Urwa reported from Ibn Munkadir, that is Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Munkadir, from Dharra. Dharra was from the Tabi'iyat. She was the Tabi'iyah from Medina. So she used to be called Dharratin al-Madaniyah. Dharratin al-Madaniyah. Rahimahullah, she was a Tabi'iyah. She was a woman from amongst the Tabi'in. قالت, she said, بعث ابن الزبير إلى عائشة بمال في غرارتين. بعث ibn Zubair, Abdullah ibn Zubair, sent some money to Aisha. في غرارتين, in 2 sacks. Girara. Do you know that sack with which we buy beans? In Yoruba land, they call it apodoho, because it is kisun min sufin. It is kis, a container, means suf, either from clothes, from cotton, or mean khaytin, or that it was woven, lakin tuda'u fihi al-hub. They used to place in it grapes. So you see that is the sack with which we place beans today. The big bean sack. Abdullah ibn Zubayr filled it up with silver coins, and he sent it to Aisha. 2 of it, giraratain, 2 of such sacks. Abdullah ibn Zubayr loaded it. Yakunu mi'ata alf. The total of it will be 100,000 silver coins. Fire at the double thing. Our mother Aisha called for a tabuk. A tabuk is like a dish, a container with which food is served. فَجَعَلَتْ تَقْسِمُ فِي النَّاسِ. She began to start something like a tray, small tray, or the dish, put it inside the sack, having the silver coins. فَجَعَلَتْ تَقْسِمُ فِي النَّاسِ. She will turn to start to distribute that and share that amongst the people. فَلَمَّا أَمْسَتْ. In the evening of that day, قالت, she said, رضي الله عنها, هاتي يا جريدة بفطوري. هاتي يا جارية فطوري. Bring me my breakfast. رضي الله عنها. She was distributing money from the morning to the extent that she did not take her fatur. فَلَمَّا أَمْسَتْ. When the evening reached, قالت, Aisha said, رضي الله عنها, هاتي يا جارية فطوري. Oh my young female slave, هاتوا فطوري. Bring me my fatur. Bring me my breakfast. فقالت أم ذرة. ذرة, the Tabi'iyah who reported this, reported, Ya al-Mu'mineen, O mother of the people of Iman, أما استطعت أن تشتري لنا لحما بدرهم. Can't you even buy us some meat with 1 single dirham? You distributed 100,000 dirhams, and these monies are different. What Muawiyah sent to her is about that too. What Abdullah ibn Zubair sends to her is about that. So you can see different occasion. What she was distributing, when Muawiyah sent 100,000, she distributed it. When Abdullah ibn Zubair sent 100, she distributed it. And one of her slaves would say, أَمَّا اسْتَطَعْتِ أَن تَشْتَرِيَ لَنَا لَحْمًا بِدِرْهَمٍ. Can't you even buy us some meat with one single dirham from the 100? قالت, our mother Aisha said, رضي الله عنها, لا تعنفيني, don't, لا تؤكبيني بالعنف, don't criticize me so strongly. لو أدركتيني لفعلت. If you had come earlier to me, I would have done so. But you didn't say that now. You didn't speak. You didn't say it early. So when they came to tell her, let's buy some meat in the house, I already distributed everything. Radiallahu anha. This makes us remember the statement of Abdullah ibn Zubayr about Āishah and Asma. Abdullah ibn Zubayr said, Radiallahu anhu, ما رأيت امرأتين أجود من عائشة وأسماء. I never saw two women who were more open-handed min Āishah wa Asma than Aisha and Asma. Abdullah ibn Zubayr. I don't know women who are more open-handed than Aisha and Asma. وَجُودُهُمَا مُخْتَلِفٌ. And the style of open-handedness of the two of them is different. He said, مَا رَأَيْتُ امْرَأَتَيْنِ أَجْوَدَ مِنْ عَائِشَةَ وَأَسْمَعَ وَجُودُهُمَا مُخْتَلِفٌ. I have not seen any two women who were more open-handed than Aisha and Asma. And the style of their open-handedness, مُخْتَلِفٌ, it is different from one another. Amma Aisha, as for Aisha, فَكَانَتْ تَجْمَعُ الشَّيْءَ إِلَى الشَّيْءِ حَتَّى إِذَا كَانَ اجْتَمَعَ عِنْدَهَا قَسَمَتْ. Aisha's style was تَجْمَعُ الشَّيْءَ إِلَى الشَّيْءِ. She'll be gathering money. حَتَّى إِذَا كَانَ اجْتَمَعَ عِنْدَهَا. When the things are gathered with her قَسَمَتْ, then she would share it. وَأَمَّا أَسْمَاءُ, as for Asma'u, my mother, فَكَانَتْ لَا تُمْسِكُ شَيْئًا لِغَدٍ. She will not wait for tomorrow before she distributes. So these people were very, very, very humble people. And Aisha radiallahu anha was very open-handed. So what else do we want to say about Aisha? She was the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was a scholar. روي عنها ربع العلم. 1/4 of knowledge was reported from her. Their eminent companions were her students, including the likes of Abu Hurairah and Abdullah ibn Umar. It suffices for her as a thing of God. And it was also reported by, as we had read in this book, it was also reported by Imām Masruq ibn al-Ajda that Aisha was very brilliant. And she was a person who perfected the field of sharing inheritance, al-mawaris, or ilm al-mirath, or al-farad. She was a person who perfected that field very well. Urwa ibn Zubayr told us that she also perfected the science of treating people. You have one illness, go to Aisha, she'll give you something. You have one illness, go to Aisha, she'll give you something. She also perfected ilm al-ansab, the science of the genealogy. You, who is your father? Abdul-Razak. She will tell the rest of your parents. Your grandfather, your great-grandfather, where you came from. Aisha knew that. Here we are, all brothers, all women. Aisha radiallahu anha, Abdullah ibn Zubayr, ما رأيت امرأتين أجود من عائشة وأسماء. Not seen two women who were more open-handed than Aisha. Women added to it, be open-handed. Why? Your mother Aisha was very open-handed. Aisha was very open-handed. Radiyallahu anha, to the extent that she got 100,000 dirhams. And she was distributing Sometimes she gave the wives to the Prophet, sometimes she gave other women. If it were our own women today, they would say that they want to invest it. They want to do investment. They want to. May Allah protect all of us. The actual investment is investing in the hereafter. Āishah radiallahu anha invested in knowledge. She was knowledgeable, teaching knowledge. That's investment. When money came, she gave it out in sadaqah. That's also investment. Many of us, it is when a woman dies amongst us, we'll be saying that we want to do sadaqah jariyah for her. I hope that women, we are hearing this because this lesson is for women basically. So we should also be prepared. Give, ikhwa, ummahat, give. One of the major means of avoiding Jahannam on the day of Qiyamah is sadaqat. Did you not hear what Allah said? وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا الْأَتْقَى الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. Some people will not be in the fire. وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا. Some people will certainly be protected. Who are those people? Al-Atqa, the people of Taqwa. What makes them from the people of Taqwa? الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. They give from their wealth by way of seeking purification, by way of seeking closeness to Allah. Allah says, وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى مَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. It's not as if he wants to pay you back something. Many women today, when you are doing sadaqah, you say you want to pay back to society. Do it for the sake of Allah. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. Don't say that you are doing sadaqah because of humanity. Ummahat, don't do sadaqah because of humanity. Men, brothers, people say this a lot. It's a useless statement. It's not good at all. You are doing sadaqah because of humanity. Don't do it. Do it because إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. You are just seeking the countenance of Allah with your sadaqah. You are not doing it so that people can see you. That's why you don't need to put it on Twitter. You don't need to put it on YouTube. You don't need to announce it. I am distributing 10,000 bags of rice tomorrow. You don't need to. If you are announcing it so that 10,000 people can come, that's a good thing. But if you are announcing it so that people will hear, that is the reward that you will get from Allah. For the sake of Allah, our intention behind our sadaqat must be the way Allah said it. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِنْ نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. It's not as if someone did something to you yesterday you want to pay back. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. The only reason you are doing sadaqah is ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّكَ. You are using it to seek the face of your Lord. Allah said, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. You too, Allah will gladden you. That's why one of the cures for depression is sadaqah. Ikhwa, one of the cures for depression is sadaqah. Because Allah said, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. You too will get pleasure. One of the things that brings happiness to our mind is sadaqah. When you give, Allah brings happiness into your heart. When you are depressed, give sadaqah. If you feel a worry, a depression, anything, you are worried, feel anxiety, you feel a disturbance in your mind, give sadaqah. You are sad, give sadaqah. You are anxious, give sadaqah. Why? وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. The one who sincerely gives sadaqah for the sake of Allah, Allah will grant him pleasure. Allah will grant him happiness. Allah will grant him sight. So you can see this aspect of the life of Āishah. He brought her monies, 320 million, 200 and something million, this million, she gave out in sadaqah that very day. Radiallahu anha. I think it will suffice for us to stop here so that we can take questions so that we can take questions regarding giving sadaqah. Abu Amir.
نعم شيخنا صلوات الله عليك.
Amin wa iyyakum.
Yeah, okay. Just one question came in now. Says, can one repeat an act of worship if he thinks there was riyah, maybe after giving charity?
Well, sometimes there will not be riyah, but shaitan will make you think there was riyah in it. You understand? So you can repeat it while now trying to be sure there is no riyah. You can repeat it. You can do it again. If there was no riyah in the first one, you would have gained 2. If there was riyah, you would have gained 1. If you repeat it, you will not lose, as long as you have the ability to repeat. But one of the things that was common with the early Muslims was that they cared about riyah so much. And when it's becoming a fear, don't let it stop you from doing it. Dhikr, you will say that Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min an ushrika bika shay'an a'lamuhu wa astaghfiruka mimma la a'lamuhu. It was actually reported by the same Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan. When the early Muslims did something, they are afraid of riyah inside it. They now begin to say that dua. Inni a'udhu, Allahumma inni a'udhu min an ushrika bika shay'an a'lamuhu. O Allah, I seek refuge in you, not to join partners with you knowingly. Wa a'udhu bika min wa astaghfiruka mimma la a'lamuhu. The one that I would have done not knowing, I ask you to please leave me, because riyah will destroy the good deeds. May Allah forgive all of us. So let us do sadaqah, ayyuhal ikhwa. Sadaqah, a lot. Let us try to do sadaqah. And today is Jummah. Let us try to do sadaqah. May Allah forgive all of us. Ameen.
Amen. Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykh.
Ameen.
My question is, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. From the description of Zainab bint Jahsh, is that she has a long arm, which was explained as being the most generous among the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is this wrongly attributed to her? Jazakumullah khairan.
Ameen wa antum. That we are saying that Āishah is generous, it does not mean that another person is not generous. If we say Āishah is generous, she gives the rest of the women, it does not mean that another woman is not generous. We were talking about the generosity of Āishah. We came also to the generosity of Asma. Is there a woman amongst the women in the early times that you cannot describe with generosity? Zainab bint Jahsh was very, very, very generous. But it does not mean that the rest two were not generous. So because we say Āishah is generous, it does not mean that Zainab is not generous. Zainab was generous. Radiyallahu anha bint Jahsh. And she was the wife of the Prophet who died almost immediately, about 6 months or so after the Prophet. Or thereabout, Allahu Alam. She died very, very far away from when the Prophet died, alayhi salatu wasalam. She was known for her generosity. And she was a very righteous woman. Even according to Āishah, she said Zainab was very, very righteous. So how can Āishah describe that Zainab is righteous, and inside that righteousness there is no generosity? What is righteousness? When in the righteousness there is no generosity. So definitely Zainab is generous. Apart from those reports that say that she's very generous, she's generous. Now that we are talking about Āishah's generosity does not now mean that Zainab is not generous. If we were talking about Zainab, then we'll be describing Zainab's generosity. So all of them were people of generosity. The women in the times of the Prophet were generosity. Were full of generosity. Open-handed. And we have this one woman has 200 million. and she's distributing it to the extent that she didn't even eat breakfast. Āishah here in this report, she was telling her free slave, Hati ya jariyatu faturi. Oh, free slave, bring my fatur, bring my breakfast. And that was Bada and Amsat, Falama Amsat. In the evening, she's asking for breakfast because she was busy distributing money to people. In our own times, it's all about women buying, shoe, bag. Yes, there are people who are also generous in our times amongst our women and also amongst our men. We cannot deny this. We beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue to reward them abundantly. I know generous brothers, and I know generous women. May Allah increase all of them in this goodness. But their number is very small inside our large population. The bulk of us we want to take. We are waiting for the day we become millionaires. The one who has 100 naira, he cannot spend 20, 30, 40 naira from it. When he has 1,000, can he spend 500 naira from it? In Sadaqah, in Sadaqah. The one who has 100 naira can spend 50 naira. Do you think when he has 1,000, he can spend 500? So if he has 1 million, can he spend 500,000? If he has 10 million, can he spend 5 million? It's just like that. The same thing. He'll always ever be thinking that he does not have. So it is that feeling that we should disabuse. Spend from that one that you have. Mimma atakum. From the one that Allah has anything, from anything that Allah has given you. Spend from it. Spend from it. Spend from whatever Allah has given you. Men and women. Go back to the house today. Look at the house. What can I give somebody today? And then you try to give somebody something. The act of giving is very, very poor in the younger generation. I personally have an experience and I think I can share it with us. There's hardly a day I'm going out of the house, my mother does not give me money to give sadaqah. Wallahi, my own mother. Every day. And when I come back, she will ask me, did you give my sadaqah? I say, I gave. There is hardly a day I'll go out of the house. Once I'm kicking the car, I say, hey, call him. I will stop, I'll go. He said, take, give my sadaqah. Almost every day. Even the security, they know. Say, our grandma is calling you. I will stop and I'll go. Say, take, give sadaqah. But our younger women, may Allah provide for them and grant us the ease of doing good deeds. Sadaqah, there is nothing that is easily preventing hellfire like sadaqah. Even those people who will be in Jahannam, they will be begging Allah to allow them come out so that they can do sadaqah. As for the kuffar, Allah says, Inna alladhina kafaru, law anna lahum ma fil ardi jami'an wa mithlahu ma'ahu, liyaftadu bihi min adabi yawmil qiyamati ma tukubbila min. If they have everything like the heavens and the earth, and everything like it, everything in the earth, jami'an, ma fil ardi jami'an, everything on the earth, if they have it, wa mithlahu ma'ahu, and something like it together with it, so that they can give it out to free themselves from the fire of Jahannam. Allah said it will not be accepted from them. Why are they thinking about giving sadaqah to get freedom? Because Allah says, وَسَيُجَنَّبْهَا الْأَتْقَى الْأَتْقَى. The people of taqwa will be protected from the fire because they give sadaqah. The same thing in Al-Mu'minun. Allah says, He will say, some people, they are in the fire, they say, قَالَ رَبِّ رِجِعُونَ لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِيمَا تَرَكْتُ. Oh Allah, send me back to the earth so that I can quickly go and give out sadaqah. In everything that I have left, I will quickly give it out in sadaqah. Sadaqah is very, 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 very beneficial. Giving out sadaqah. But it is something we hardly do. We are very covetous in our times. Give sadaqah. Intentionally give sadaqah. With clear-cut intention, don't allow shaitan deceive you. Sadaqah can be food, sadaqah can be clothes, sadaqah can be money, sadaqah can be water, Sadaqah can even be a kind word. Look for somebody to say one good word to him. It's sadaqah. Sadaqah can even be a man having privacy with his wife at home. It's sadaqah. All these things will come under the bigger meaning of sadaqah. I'd like to encourage myself and all of us. Please let us go to sadaqat. Let us go back. If you say you don't have, give sadaqat. Give sadaqat. Many people don't have because they don't give. Many people don't have because they don't give. If you give, Allah will give you. If you give, Allah will give you. If you give, Allah will give you. Ikhwa, if you give, wallahi, Allah will give you. If you give, Allah will give you. May Allah give to all of us.
Amin, Shaykhana. Jazakumullahu khairan. Amin.
Amin, min iyak.
Please, is it permissible for a very young widow to stay without remarrying with the intention of reuniting with her husband on the day of judgment? And is it true that when a woman marries more than one husband in this world, she will only reunite with the last man he married on the day of judgment? So, please, how true is this, sir?
Yes, that hadith occurs and it is authentic. A woman will be married to her last husband, radiyallahu anhum. A woman will be married to her last husband on the day of Qiyamah inside Al-Jannah. A woman will be married to her last husband. But the early Muslims used to prevent young women from doing that. Because when you don't marry, you become exposed to a lot of things. If the companions will be telling themselves, Madam, go and marry, then what will we say in our own times when indecency is more spread? You phone, as long as you have phones on your hand, you're exposed to danger. So in the earlier times when there is no much indecency, they were insisting that women who become widowed should marry. Is it now when there is proliferation of indecency that we should not be encouraging women who become widowed to marry? Please, sister, go and marry. Look for a good, righteous man to marry. Because if you don't marry, the Jannah itself may become mist. If you don't marry, it may lead to missing the Al-Jannah itself. And when you miss the Al-Jannah, if your husband is a person you hope will be in Al-Jannah, you may miss everything. So if you don't marry, it may cause trouble. So marry, oh woman. Marry, and Allah will delight you with your new husband too. One of the things some women don't want to marry is that they think that they can't have a man like the other man. It does not exist. Many good men are there, just like many good women are there too, in the midst of the whole thing we are talking about. So I'll encourage the sister to look for a righteous man to marry. Marry a good, righteous person who has good consciousness about taking care of his family. This is what you should look at in a man. Don't look at the rich of a man. Don't look at his riches. Look at his sense of responsibility. Because if the man is rich and he lacks a sense of responsibility, you will see the money, but you'll be suffering at home. But if he has a sense of responsibility, the little that he has, everybody will share it. Why? He has a mind to be responsible as a man. So a responsible man is better than the rich. Many women today are looking for rich and comfortable. He must have a house, he must buy a car, he must have a 3-room flat. Look for a man with a sense of responsibility. He is responsible, not necessarily a rich person. But if he is rich and also responsible too, that is okay. May Allah grant us that which is best for each of us.
Amin, Shaykhana. Ahsanallahu alaykum. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Amin wa iyyakum. Can we have this now as the last question for today?
Naam, Shaykhana. Salawatullahi alaykum.
Amin wa iyyakum.
Assalamu alaykum. does giving to one's siblings also, is it also considered as sadaqah?
Yes, giving your relatives is also from sadaqah. In fact, the one you spend on yourself too is sadaqah. The one you spend on yourself too is sadaqah. The one you spend too on yourself is sadaqah. So when you give your wife, it's sadaqah. When you give your children, it's sadaqah. But your intention must be the intention of someone giving sadaqah. If the intention is the intention of show off, no rewards. If it's just the intention of other intentions, no reward. It must be for the sake of Allah. That is what, that Allah for whose sake you did it will reward. But if it is for the sake of just showing off, it will not get rewards. May Allah protect all of us.
Ameen.
Anyway, can we call it a day today? Bismillah, you can compile the questions for Sunday. Our Sunday Adabul Mufrad class will be a QA session, inshallah. As we had said last week, our Sunday Adabul Mufrad class, inshallah, will be a QA class. Inshallah.
No, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan, Shaykh.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen.